The Philadelphia Eagles traded away one of the best wide receivers in the NFL this offseason, my friend, and now they are digging through the bargain bin of the free agent market in search of cheap pieces to complete their new receiver room. And an insider covering this franchise just predicted a bargain signing that carries a delicious irony. The target is a veteran who earned eternal fame with a single play, one of the most unbelievable plays in recent NFL history, while wearing the uniform of one of the Eagles' biggest rivals within their own division. A player who is probably no longer a starter anywhere, but who brings exactly the kind of physical profile and experience Howie Roseman loves to have at the bottom of the roster. Who is this player? What was the play that immortalized him? And why would the Eagles bring a former direct rival into their own house? I am going to walk you through this entire signing prediction, including why it is more of a sparkler than a true firework, in the insider's own words. But first, if you are a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this is exactly the kind of low-cost, behind-the-scenes move that completes a championship roster without spending almost anything. The prediction came from Anthony Dabana of the Philly Special. According to Dabana, while this would qualify more as a sparkler than a full-blown firework, Howie Roseman will certainly keep scouring the free agent market in search of any bargain bin signings. He noted that the Eagles have already signed 2 former UFL players this offseason, wide receiver Eric Ezukanma and defensive back Shaun Wade, and for that reason he expects Roseman to keep working the market and sign at least one more player before training camp. And the name he put on the radar is an old acquaintance from the NFC East, wide receiver Noah Brown, formerly of the Washington Commanders. That is the player at the center of this prediction. To understand why Noah Brown's name carries so much symbolic weight, you need to know the play that immortalized him. In the 2024 season, playing for the Washington Commanders, Brown was the target of one of the most incredible finishes in the history of NFL regular seasons. Against the Chicago Bears, with time expired, he caught a 52-yard Hail Mary pass thrown by rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels, securing an 18-15 victory at the Commanders Stadium in Landover, Maryland. The play became known as the Hail Maryland and was later voted the NFL Moment of the Year. The feat was so memorable that the Pro Football Hall of Fame ended up displaying the gloves Brown wore on the catch, along with one of the end zone pylons signed by him and Daniels. As the article itself joked, even if Brown probably never plays another game in the NFL, he will never have to pay for a drink or a meal in the Washington, D.C. area again. But Noah Brown's career is much more than a single magical play. Born in Flanders, New Jersey, he played college football at Ohio State, being part of the roster that won the College Football Playoff National Championship in 2015, although he missed that season due to a severe leg fracture. He was selected in the 7th round of the 2017 draft by the Dallas Cowboys, with the 239th overall pick. And here is another layer of irony. Brown spent the first 6 years of his career with none other than the Cowboys, the Eagles' biggest historical rival. During those years in Dallas, he evolved from a raw project into a reliable rotational piece, having his best year in 2022, with 43 receptions for 555 yards and 3 touchdowns in 16 games. After Dallas, he passed through the Houston Texans in 2023, where he had an absurd game against the Cincinnati Bengals, with 7 receptions for 172 yards before signing with the Commanders in 2024. Across 9 seasons in the NFL, Brown accumulated 155 receptions for 2,083 yards at 6'2" and 225 pounds of physical build. But now comes the part that explains why Brown is available at a bargain. The 2025 season was a disaster marked by injuries. He barely played, just 4 games, with only 10 receptions for 83 yards and no touchdowns, before his season ended when he was placed on season-ending injured reserve on December 16th. Brown spent most of the season dealing with knee and groin injuries, and his return lasted just 2 games after he had not played since week 2. One day before being placed on injured reserve, he posted a cryptic message on Instagram, reflecting on the frustration of doing everything he could control and still hearing "not yet" from God, but ending with a message of faith, saying that no matter how long the storm, it will pass. It is important to note that this pattern of injuries is not new. In 2024, even with the Hail Maryland play, Brown was on track for the best season of his career, with 35 receptions for 453 yards before a kidney injury ended his participation in the final 5 games of the regular season and the 3 playoff games. right when the Commanders reached the NFC Championship for the first time since 1991. And that is exactly where the Eagles' logic comes into play. Philadelphia's wide receiver room was completely reshaped after the A.J. Brown trade to the New England Patriots, a topic we have already explored in depth in previous videos on this channel. With Devonta Smith as the number 1, first-round rookie Mekhi Lemon taking over the slot, Hollywood Brown bringing vertical speed, and names like Dontavion Wicks and Johnny Wilson rounding out the group, the Eagles need depth and experienced bodies for the training camp competition. And Noah Brown's profile fits a specific role Philadelphia has always valued. A big, physical wide receiver known as one of the best blockers at the position in the entire league. Exactly the kind of skill that fits perfectly into a run scheme like the one Sean Mannion is building, and which we have already detailed in videos about Saquon Barkley and the new offense. Brown would not be signed to be a featured receiver. He would be signed to block, to provide depth, and to compete for one of the last roster spots. The bottom line, however, demands honesty about the limits of this prediction. This is insider speculation, not a negotiation underway, and Dibana himself classified the idea as a sparkler, meaning a spark, not a true firework. Brown is coming off a season practically lost to injuries at 30 years old, and there is a real chance he is not even in any team's plans as a starter. But that is exactly where the value lies. A minimum contract, with no risk, for a veteran with playoff experience, elite blocking ability, and a physical profile that fits the scheme. If Brown stays healthy and wins the competition, the Eagles gain real depth for a bargain. If not, the investment dissolves without compromising anything at all of the bigger plan. It is Howie Roseman's classic philosophy of digging through the bottom of the bin, the same one that brought in names like Johnny Munt and others for negligible amounts, as we have already discussed here on the channel. With Anthony Dibana predicting a bargain signing, with Noah Brown, the hero of the unbelievable Hail Maryland, available on the market after a season lost to injuries, and with the Eagles' wide receiver room still needing depth and blocking ability, the question left for you, Eagles fan, is direct. Would you be okay seeing the Eagles bring in a former direct rival from Dallas and Washington to reinforce the bottom of the roster for a bargain? Or do you think Philadelphia already has enough young receivers competing for those spots and does not need another veteran with an injury history? Drop your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.